started throwing tear gas. He started shooting at it for no reason.
Shooting what, the rubber bullets?
Yes, the rubber bullets for no reason. We were just standing there, and all of a sudden they started shooting and throwing rubber bullets at us, tear gas, and it's been a few times with us just standing there.
Here, some people have needed treatment from paramedics.
Yes, and paramedics, fire department.
How do you feel about what's going on here today?
This is really sad to know that this is going on right now when supposedly it was supposed to change. We had slavery back in the days. This is insane, you know?
They've gassed us. They did. They've gassed us about 3 times now. And so we're kind of a little bit leery. We're just wanting to run.
So again, folks, we're at Laguna and Wood near Camarillo. The theater of all the chaos is down yonder about a half mile. We are in a safe area. Some of the protesters have moved into this area, and as you can see, some of those protesters are blocking one of the military vehicles from getting through. So this standoff continues live. Mayor Camarillo, Leo Star with ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Back to you.
Leo, thank you for that report. And take a look at this video right here. It appears a protester fired some kind of gun at federal agents. This happened this afternoon. It was a really chaotic scene at the time. A lot of smoke was being launched at the protesters. And again, it appears a protester fired back with that weapon. It looks like he fired at least a couple of times. We have not heard about any agents being hurt.
Also breaking this afternoon, when it comes to immigration enforcement.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Here's more on what we witnessed when we were down there in the
middle of the road at some points, or you see cars from
Bueno, pues hubo una redada aquí en Oxnard, en Ventura, condado de Ventura, no en Oxnard, condado de Ventura, y pues mucha gente se juntó ahí, una redada en los campos, ahí está, condado de Ventura, y pues se juntó mucha gente, luego
Laguna Road here. So you can see additional flashbangs and canisters being fired towards the protesters, pushing them further west down Laguna Road.
Bueno, pues que lo saquen a todos para ver quién les cosecha sus frutas y verduras, ¿verdad?
Here in particular, where agents were concentrating on at this point, we'll head back here to the ranch property here. And here are the dozens of people that I had mentioned that are being detained here by ICE. And we'll see if they're going to be loaded up here shortly onto those passenger vans and buses. But the operation is still continuing here, and those people you're seeing along the ICE agents you're seeing handling the crowd.
Bueno, pues a ver quién va a recoger sus cosechas ahora, que les pierdan sus frutas y verduras.
The main zone of where this activity is happening with ICE and the workers here at the farm.
Yeah, Rich, it's probably safe to say, like, even just in that section, it looked like close to 40 workers still waiting, and then we've been covering this for a couple of hours already, and people have already been detained.
Están tirando gases lacrimógenos.
At least workers being detained, maybe even a couple of hundred.
Yeah, here, let me give you a little wider perspective here. You can see just how rural this area here. It's all agricultural.
Parece que iba a estar golpeados porque ahí está la ambulancia.
The buildings, all the greenhouse, all that. So just based on how large this facility is, I can only imagine the cars that are parked along these buildings here. There's got to be hundreds, if not thousands, of employees here for this one particular farm. So hard to say, but it looks at a lot of people, if not the majority of people here that work at the property, are now being detained by ICE members.
Rich, on the right side of our screen, we're looking at our photographer shot from the ground there with one of the ambulances taking away people, or perhaps they treated people on the scene, are now moving back to the main road as people still gather. I know earlier you mentioned that multi-casualty incident regarding the impact of tear gas canisters. What can you tell us about possible injuries here today?
Yeah, so they basically the assessment that came out over the radio chatter was that there were injuries involved in with the protesters that had clashed with ICE members here.
Hay lastimados, hay heridos.
And the
que se enfrentaron con la migración.
Multiple people had requested medical attention here. We saw at least one that was being treated here along Laguna Road, a little closer to where the activity is happening, but due to what we had just seen unfold here, where the protesters were clashing with agents and they had to deploy additional canisters of gas and pepper balls, the fire department has had to move further away, and they're going to have to try and set up a way to move patients that may be down here towards the Pleasant Valley side, where they have a command center set up. The fire department has a command center set up to help people that have been injured down here, but there is no security here for the fire department.
Parece que sí hubo muchos lastimados.
Would be from the federal agents themselves, our federal police. So that's really the only added protection they have. The sheriff's department is not responded down here for the crowd, nor to provide protection for the LA County firefighters or the Ventura County firefighters that are down here.
Después que no vayan a México a pedir trabajadores temporales, porque el gobierno tiene que dejar que hagan eso.
So hopefully that doesn't become the case, and people that may have any sort of injuries down here can seek medical attention here in the area. But as soon as we see the crowd run, after the tear gas is deployed, then we see a little break as far as the gas being deployed, and then the crowd starts to move back towards federal police once again, and then we end up kind of rinse and repeat it.
Bueno, ¿sabe cuánto termina eso?